All right, so what exactly do I mean by touching your toes legally? Well, just because you're able to do something doesn't mean that the way in which you're doing it is going to work out. Now, when it comes to general flexibility, there are some things that we all want to be able to do as a human being in order to have a good, capable, and free life. And being able to reach to your toes is one of them. Now, the general rule would be, if you cannot get to your toes, if you cannot reach your toes, then you're going to get a problem. So the person, they can't quite get there, well, they're going to throw some funny things out, trying to get to the floor, get something off of the floor. But the rule also is, if you can palm the floor, if you can go beyond your toes and do that with ease, you're also going to get a problem. And that's because you're able to move beyond the ranges in which the human body has leverage, beyond which muscles throughout your bodies, throughout your hips, have leverage in order to pull you back up, in order to be able to drive and launch you forward, in order to be able to react. It's akin to the car tipping too hard around the corner, the roller coaster tipping too hard as it's taking a turn on the tracks. You're gonna topple over, or you're gonna pull something trying to not topple over. So what we want to have a comfortable, capable, and free human life is to be able to just barely touch our toes and have a certain number of things going on when we're doing it. All right, so we want to just get to our toes. We don't want more, but we want to be able to reach our toes in order to have a good life. And what are these things that I mentioned that we need to have going on for this to be legal or to work out for us? Well, there are 3 rules that we're going to be looking for. 1 is that your feet are flat when you're doing it, and 2 is that you feel the back of your legs working, not necessarily stretching, not being stretched, but working, holding you up while you are reaching to and touching your toes. And the 3rd thing is that when you take a big breath in, and you need to be able to breathe in order to say you own a certain range of motion, a certain movement. When you breathe in, you need to feel your upper back stretch and expand. And if you get those 3 things, feet flat on the ground, back of your legs moving, and your upper back expanding when you take a breath in, then that's going to count as legal. All right, so what exactly does this look like? Well, pretty much you reach to your toes, and you feel the back of your legs working, feet are flat, you don't have weight pitched back and toes popping up, and you're not rolling to the outside of your feet, you have equal weight on both of them. And as you are reaching to your toes, and you take a breath in, and you feel your upper back expand as you do it. That is being able to legally reach to your toes. You're not going beyond where you have leverage, but you're able to go as far as you need to in order to have a full, comfortable, capable, free life. Now, there are 2 ends of the spectrum when it comes to problems with this. One are the folks that can't get there. They're toned too tight. And the second one are the folks that go beyond, and oftentimes they're a little proud of their ability to get beyond it. So, for those that cannot get to their toes, a very simple thing to do is to sit there and to make sure that your feet are flat, to make sure that you are shifting your weight back into the back of your legs and you feel them working, and to not sacrifice that tension trying to go further. And as you feel stuck, you can't go any further, you reach your arms through your collarbones, looking at where you're trying to reach to, and you breathe in and then out. And as you breathe in and out, you'll feel your body relax with the exhale. And you may not get to it that single first time trying this, but with practice, you will be able to reach that goal of your middle finger touching your big toe, no further but that far, feeling your feet
flat on the ground, even way front to back and in and out. Back of the legs working, and your upper back stretching when you take a breath in.
And that is the way in which, if you're too tight, you help get yourself there, and you want to return there every single day of your life if you want to be comfortable, capable, and have a certain sense of freedom. All right, so that's for the folks that are too tight. What about the people that are maybe a little too loose? Maybe they're able to palm the floor, and it just ain't no thing. Well, usually what it looks like when they're doing that is sort of like they go all the way down, they're like, yeah, and they're like, they even like to hold on. They're like way back on their heels, toes are popping up, everything is just like loose. Well, in those situations with those folks, what they got to do is reach forward and butt back, keeping toes down, and force the back of their legs to actually turn on. These folks usually have very dead, lax hamstrings. They're kind of like off. Things are turned off in these folks. So, if you're part of this club, you reach those arms forward and butt back, keeping those toes down. You get to your big toe, touching it just with your middle finger, and you're going to have the urge to go further because you just like to let go, but don't. Elbows straight, and then what you do is you push back to the sky. You give it back. You give back the flexibility that you don't want to have. You make sure to stick your butt back. Make it work for you. Reach that upper back to the sky. You take a breath in, and then out. And you're going to feel things working, and in fact, you're going to feel things stretching when you breathe in. And where you want it to stretch is your upper back. Often, folks that tend to be able to go too far, they're really caved to their middle back. And they have to open it up by pushing their upper back up to the sky. So if you're part of the club that's able to go further than your toes, you want to give it back. You want to tighten up your hamstrings. You want to light them up and make them work for you. Oftentimes you're stuck back on your heels and your toes are popping up, waving flags. Pitch your way forward. Let those knees bend. Let the weight go a bit forward. And make these work for you, keeping your toes down on the ground. And push yourself back through your upper back to the ceiling. And then out. And that's something that you're going to want to do every day of your life from here to the grave if you want to feel comfortable, capable, and free, and actually have some sort of momentum walking forward. Because if you're one of those that can palm the floor, then things are turned off enough that you don't have forward momentum, you don't have forward acceleration. You're going to get problems if you haven't already gotten them. Alright guys, so that's how you touch your toes legally. I hope it's helpful. Reach out if you got any sort of questions. A big thing to know when you're doing this is you really don't want to have any pain. So don't work through any pain or significant discomfort when you're doing this. Nothing should be going numb. You shouldn't be straining anything. You should be making things work, and that's the back of your legs. Follow the rules that I set out. Keep your feet flat throughout it. Allow yourself to make some adjustments to maintain that. Make the back of your legs work, and where you want to feel a stretch when you breathe in is in your upper back. Don't work through any discomfort that seems like it might cause a problem. That no pain, no gain thing only works out with wartime or childbirth. It's not going to work out when you're trying to improve your comfort and your mobility and give yourself a better life. So ask any questions if you got them, please reach on out. I hope that's helpful, and I hope you're well.